And finally, new rule, Republicans have to stop excusing all the dictatory stuff that comes out of Trump's mouth by saying, he's just kidding. He says stuff. When Trump proclaimed last year that if he won re-election, he'd be dictator on day one, Republicans said things like,
I think it was a joke.
It's entertainment.
We all know Trump uses unique expressions when he explains things.
yeah.
Bill Maher didn't hold back, and this time, the target wasn't just Donald Trump, it was the entire Republican establishment bending over backward to defend him. The excuses are falling apart, the mask is slipping, and Maher wasn't pulling any punches. Welcome back to the channel where we tear the mask off political theater. Today we're breaking down Bill Maher's savage takedown of MAGA denial. Subscribe now if you're tired of the lies and ready for the truth. It all exploded when Trump, once again, let his autocratic fantasies slip out, boasting he'd be
Dictator on day one.
if re-elected. Instead of sounding the alarm, top Republicans scrambled to gaslight the American public into thinking it was all just.
The cameras designed to keep up.
Senate Majority Leader John Thune said Trump was.
And says when Trump talks about running for a third term, he's
Ben Shapiro downplayed Trump's riposte about Liz Cheney deserving treason trials with a sarcastic brush off.
tried for treason. Ben answered sarcastically, wait, he said shit? That's crazy.
Bill Maher lit the match by pointing out how insane it is that an entire political party now relies on the argument.
Worry about, our guy is just full of shit.
He was just getting started. The mental gymnastics on display were stunning. When Trump floated putting Americans in Salvadorian prisons, Charlie Kirk brushed it off.
And Charlie said, if you were to do that, I wouldn't support it. But
Maher wasn't buying it. He mocked this pathetic excuse, likening Trump to a stand-up comedian.
workshopping premises like U.S. citizens can be taken off the streets and sent to overseas torture prisons.
And when former Senator Ben Sassa was pressed about Trump refusing to leave office in 2020, he lazily shrugged it off with,
Crazy stuff. We've always had a peaceful transfer of power. It's not gonna.
But as Maher searingly pointed out, beat did change. It wasn't peaceful, and that's the danger. Dictator jokes don't stay jokes forever. The GOP's weak, lazy rationalizations are now actively enabling authoritarianism. They are gambling with democracy and pretending it's just entertainment. Bill Maher delivered a brutal reality check to anyone still pretending Trump's antics are harmless. Humans, he explained.
Humans and the MAGA crowd cannot be trusted.
He compared MAGA's dangerous game to cheating in relationships.
Not everyone who flirts cheats, but all cheating starts with flirt.
At what point does flirting cross the line? When Trump's supporters excuse lock her up chants, suing the press, calling journalists the enemy.
And the lock her up chants and the suing the press and calling them enemy of the people and saying shoplifting.
Enemy of the people, and even proposing shoplifters be shot on sight. It's no longer innocent teasing, and the absurdity didn't stop there. Maher dragged the MAGA world for treating Trump's cozying up to dictators like a sitcom gag.
Trump's love letters to Kim Jong-un and his siding with Putin at Helsinki and the tanks.
Until they weren't. Bill hammered the point home with a chilling observation.
Like just flirting and more like we're actually.
The crowd laughed, but the undercurrent was deadly serious. Flirting with fascism turns into living with fascism. And while even white nationalist Nick Fuentes said,
Being a little excessive even for me.
mainstream Republicans remain willfully blind. The audience didn't just hear Maher's warning, they felt it, and so should the rest of America. The real bombshell came when Maher turned the mirror onto Republicans themselves. He wasn't content to only mock Trump's dictator cosplay. He called out the so-called good Republicans too.
Crazy stuff. We've always had a peaceful transfer of power. It's not gonna.
Maher torched that wishful thinking by reminding everyone,
Because it wasn't peaceful.
and he didn't stop there. He savagely highlighted how even figures like Mike Pence, William Barr, Dick Cheney, Liz Cheney, Mitt Romney, and Mitch McConnell only took a stand after it was too late, after January 6th had already exploded. Brad Raffensperger refusing to find 11,000 votes for Trump wasn't courage. It was the bare minimum. Maher labeled them the good as it gets Republicans, a title so backhanded it stung. It wasn't just a comedic takedown, it was a devastating indictment of the entire Republican Republican ecosystem that coddled Trump's delusions until those fantasies metastasized into a violent insurrection. Bill Maher's final beatdown was merciless and aimed straight at the Republican rank and file.
And so I gotta ask, what about the rest of you, my Republican friends? And yes, I do have Republican friends, and I know that makes me a very bad person. Because it makes me less pure, and as we all know, purity wins elections and solves problems.
He hammered the smug self-delusion on the left too, warning that purity politics doesn't win, but he saved his sharpest blade for conservatives.
My choice of maintaining communication with the deplorables may only have a 1% chance of succeeding, but I guarantee your method of running out of the room screaming, "I'm not talking to you."
He wasn't just venting, he was pleading for honesty. He threw down the gauntlet.
Now, okay, you appreciated my honesty and balls, now I want to...
If Republicans and America don't wake up fast, the next coup attempt won't be a joke or a failed flirtation. It'll be deadly serious. Don't let the media gaslight you into thinking this is normal. It's not. Subscribe now if you're ready to call it out. Loud and clear. We're just getting started.